will discuss about industry. This is not a sophisticated thing. Industry means factory, their workers, and these workers are not so much educated, like they are hardworking, they get wages, got it. They always works in hazardous, they involve themselves in hazardous things, like they do whatever, they always work with the machines.
Okay.
So their life is not very simple. So that's why under industrial law, many acts has been uh, they have brought, like to save or to protect the interest of the workers. Got it? Because just you have to think, if one worker is working in an office, sitting in AC and working, this is something different than a worker is working in a factory. It's so hot. Okay, they are working in machines. Okay, they may working with fires, etc., etc. So there are different situations in a factory. Got it? So now whatever we will read about these things, like how you are going to protect a worker, and these workers are not at all educated, right? They work for wages only, and these wages may be day basis they can take. They are working day basis, piece basis, or monthly they can take, or as a package they can take, weekly they can take, depends. Got it? And so industrial law is going to guide you about this. Now maximum accidents actually occurred in factory, because normally those people are working in an office, there is a no scope of making accident, right? But these workers always works with machines. That's why it is mandatory to do the maintenance of these machines. In a factory, it's a way you cannot fix a AC in factory. So there should be a proper ventilation, proper number of toilets, proper canteens for their rest, because they works 24 hours and shift basis. Okay. So to protect all these things, this industrial law came. So industrial law is quite different from company law. So under industrial law, first we will discuss Factories Act. Like whenever you will run a factory, what are the things you need to give more importance? Like what are the points you need to take into consideration? Then we will read about Wages Act, like how you will pay wages to the workers. Okay, how you will fix wages for the workers and how will you are going to pay it. Two acts are there. Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Wages Act. After that, though they always work in a very means hazardous way, or they always work in a very hazardous process or go through in hazardous process, always you should give them protection, medical protection. So for them only ESI is there, employees that ESI scheme will be there, then EPF will be there, gratuity, if you pay gratuity, then what are the rules? All these acts are there under industrial law. So today we will start with Factories Act 1948. First act under industrial law. So this Factories Act will guide you about factories. This written in 1948, but this got passed by the parliament on 1st April 49. That means this is the enforcement date. Got it. So it came into effect on 1st April 1949. So April 1st, from 1st May onwards, from 1949, this Factories Act got applied on all the industries or on all factories like this. This Factories Act extends to whole of India. Got it, including Jammu and Kashmir, mind it, from first. So it extends to whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir. And full Factories Act includes manufacturing process. Now, all manufacturing companies, manufacturing term is a broad term, we will explain. So, if you are involved yourself with any manufacturing processes, then we can say you are in an industry and Factories Act will become applicable on you. Got it. Now, what does this manufacturing term means? Anything, like if you are making anything or else altering anything or else repair, you want to repair something, ornamenting, or you're giving some finishing, you're packing, okay, finishing, packing, then cleaning, selling, transport, delivery, disposal. So from making till delivery, whatever process comes in between. For making itself, you have to make it, then you have to polish it, you have to repair it, you have to give a finishing touch. After that, you have to clean it, you have to pack it, then you will transport it, give a delivery, and finally sale will be done. Till making means from making till delivery, whatever steps involved here, all are coming under manufacturing process. So if your company involves in any of this, or else if you are involved with any of this manufacturing processes of this Factories Act 1948 will become applicable on you. Got it. So let us see some of the Factories Act only, we will see some of the definition. Now, one good thing is that some of the definition, whatever we are going to read here, for example, what do you mean by worker, what do you mean by worker, occupier, factory means, hazardous process means, this is more or less same for all chapters, all acts. So, from one act, if you read the definition, you can write in all other acts also. So, maximum all this type of concepts or basic meanings you will get same, means repeatedly it will come whenever you will see. So I prefer like read one, means from one act just read it and write in everywhere. So this is the meaning of manufacturing process. Now, under Factories Act 1948, you can say in under Factories Act 1948, in a factory, who are the, what do you mean by competent person? Like, what do you mean by competent person as per Factories Act 1948? Now, what do you mean by the term competent? Eligible. Okay, in Contract Act, we have read what do you mean by competent person in as per Contract Act. Competent person means we have read na ki it must be adult, it should not be a minor, should be of sound mind, should not be disqualified. So all these are the competency, like your eligibility. Got it? So to work in a factory or as per Factories Act, what do you mean by competent person? So the person who can work in a factory as per Factories Act. So competent person means any person who is recognized by the chief inspector. Okay. Chief inspector. So any person in a factory means any person can work in a factory. So one eligibility is required, that to work in a factory, he must be recognized by chief inspector. Okay, we will read about this chief inspector also. But for now, you should know who is this chief inspector and what he do. He actually do all type of tests, examination, or you can say inspections, whatever is required to be done in a factory as per provision. So, you know, in a factory, the setup is totally different. Like, factory means you have to see all machines will be there, proper ventilation will be there. And always, you know, factory setup will be done in, not in the residential place. It is far. It is in a far place. You will see the industrial place will be something far from our residential thing. Why? Because whatever waste come out from the factory, it is hazardous or injurious for the health of the human being. That's why factories cannot be set up. Means you cannot set up any type of factory in any residential place or in any type of anywhere where the more people are there or many houses are there whose where we are there, means it actually injurious for the health of the human being. That's why we usually set up all these factories in a very empty place, or we call it industrial area, like that. It's quite empty. Only the factories will be set up like that. So, for example, you will see if you go towards this polar area, so it is very, it is a type of industrial area like that. So, for this purpose, so factory setup is totally different. And now in a factory, your setup will be like that, ki whether proper ventilation is there or not, whether machines are properly maintained or not, so that it will reduce the chances of accidents, making the accident by the workers. So, all these things, proper means means first aid should be there. Okay, if it is a big factory, number of workers are more than 1,000, we will see. Like ambulance also will must be there. Got it. So proper water facility, canteens, rest room, along with that proper urination like toilets must be there as per law. So whether you are following all this provision properly or not, some people must be there now. That is an inspector. This chief inspector is going to be appointed by the government, and this inspector will be appointed for the area based. Like for this area, this inspector means this inspector is going to take care of this area. For example, this area is your factory situated in this area. So he is going to come anytime and going to test and examine everything, whether everything is going okay as per law or provisions or not. Okay. So this is the chief inspector, and this chief inspector will recognize, or he is going to select the person who is going to work in the factory. Then only that person will become the competent person as per Factories Act. Clear? Any question till now?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Now, what do you mean by hazardous process? So, you know what do you mean by hazardous process? It is like something which causes dangerous to the health of person. Okay. So, you know, machine, this is dangerous. Fire, this is dangerous. The workers who works with fire, like welding work, got it. Or else, if you are having a chemical factory, like you works with chemicals, you don't know what chemicals is having, means what effect and all. So that is also hazardous. Got it. So always workers in a factory works in a hazardous process or works with hazardous process. It causes, what do you mean by hazardous process? It causes dangerous to the health of the person. Now come to, as per Factories Act, you know, workers work in a factory. What do you mean by worker? Meaning of worker. Worker means a person. Obviously, he is working, so he got employed. He can employ it either directly, okay, by the principal employer. Principal employer means the main owner or occupier of the factory. So either he will directly appointed by the principal employer, or else indirectly also can appoint it through agent. You know, nowadays no one appoints directly. So all actually appoints through the consultancy or through agent and all. So either any person got appointed directly by the principal employer or else through agent. Okay. But the person, whoever got employed, always in exchange of remuneration, he is going to work it. He on remuneration, in exchange of remuneration, he is going to work in any manufacturing process, obviously, or any kind of work which is incidental to, means which is related with the manufacturing process. Got it? Incidental to means related. Means what you got appointed, first of all, you will be employed either directly or indirectly. Okay, directly means by principal employer, indirectly through agent, in exchange of remuneration and in any manufacturing process, because factory means manufacturing process, or any kind of work which is related to manufacturing process. It can be of anything, like you are involved yourself in packing, you are involved yourself in selling or making or altering, repairing, etc., etc. All are the parts of manufacturing process. So this is the definition of workers as per Factories Act. Now, what do you mean by the term factory as per Factories Act? This is important. As per Act, Factories Act 1948, it is said like, if 10 or more workers were working on any day, any day means one day also it's okay, any day in the preceding 12 months, that is in the last 12 months, you have to check in last 12 months, if 10 or more workers, if they were working at least one day itself, such entity can be treated as a factory. Okay, and 10 or more workers is with power, and 20 or more, same concept, any one day in last 12 months without power. This is the definition of factories. It usually comes. What is the meaning of factory as per Factories Act? First of all, you have to remember like this: 10 or more workers were working any day in the preceding last 12 months with power, and 20 or more without power. In last 12 months, if a single day they have worked, then also such entity will become a factory as per Factories Act. Now the question is, what do you mean by with power and what do you mean by without power? With power means, for example, occupier is with power, manager with power. The person who is having some power, for example, to hire other person or to give salary to other person or to give instruction to other person. This type of thing we called it power. So the person who can instruct, who can direct, such person 10 or more. And 20 or more is without power. They are just worker without any knowledge. For example, I hired Mr. A. The A will come every day and will cut the wood. I am having one factory of furniture. So this person comes and he used to cut wood. And how much pieces he is cutting, on the piece basis I am paying him every day. Such worker is having no knowledge, just he will following my direction. He is coming every day and he is cutting the wood. Whatever pieces I am getting means he is cutting each day, accordingly he is going to get the money. He is having nothing, he is having no power to instruct anyone, he is having no power to tell someone anything, and he is also having no knowledge about that. He is only very hardworking, he is very efficient about cutting wood. He is usually coming from village and cutting wood and taking money and going every day. Okay, day basis he is taking money. So such type of worker who usually come to my factory and works blindly as per my direction without any knowledge and takes the money in exchange of wages, that is actually without power, sorry. So factory's definition is 10 or more workers were working any day in the preceding 12 months with power, and 20 or more, same definition, without power. Any confusion or any question asked?
No, ma'am. Clear.
Next is, what do you mean by occupier? Occupier, from the name itself, it should be clear, like the person who is occupying anything. So it means a person who is occupying or who actually having ultimate control over the affairs of the company. Having ultimate control over the affairs of the company. First of all, and also he is occupying the premises, you can say. Occupier is occupying the premises of the factory. So who is occupier? The meaning of occupier is a person who is having main control or ultimate control over the affairs of the factory. Sorry. So in the factory, whatever affairs is going on, whatever they are conducting, how many workers are working, what wages they are taking, any workers are working overtime or not, okay. Every details must be there in the knowledge of the occupier. So full is controlled by the occupier. Okay. Now let us see who are the person can be treated as occupier. So occupier, you can say from the perspective, not only from the perspective of factory. Think if you are in a case of a farm or association. In a farm means what? Farm means we have read about farm, partnership farm. So in partnership farm, what we read about partners are there, right? So in farm, if you are asked like who can be the occupier of a farm, then you can say any partner can act as an occupier. Because in a farm, partners concept was there. In a factory, you have to check who is having ultimate control over the affairs of the factory. That person is having what I did, I deleted. So who is having ultimate control, that person will be treated as an occupier of a factory. Got it? And in case of a company, if you are asked who can be the occupier, then obviously the director. They are the internal people. They always occupy the premises of the company because they always stay in the company itself. So director can be treated as occupier of a company. Got it? So these are the person can be treated as an occupier. Now, whenever an occupier means a person who wants to occupy, I said who is occupier? Who wants to occupy the premises of a factory. Now, before occupying the premises of the factory, there are some obligation of the occupier. So, I'm just telling, whenever the occupier wants to occupy the premises, at least 15 days before, he needs to send a notice to the inspector, that is chief inspector, by informing that on this date he is going to occupy the premises of the factory. Got it? And such notice should contain the name, the situation of the factory's address, name, address of the occupier. First of all, name and address of occupier. What type of manufacturing process the factory involves with, like the nature of manufacturing process. Details of workers, etc. So all these details he should write in this notice and he should send to the chief inspector just before 15 days he occupied the premises of the factory. Got it? Now think, the factory is very big. It is not possible for one occupier to take care or to control the full affairs of such factory. In such cases, manager can also be appointed. In case in a factory there is an occupier as well as a manager, then what first occupier will come? Now occupier, if occupier see like it is a vast thing, I cannot handle the full thing, I need one more person, then he can appoint one manager. So when the manager will be appointed by him, a new manager is appointed, then also the occupier is going to send a notice to inspector. Okay. Inspector within 7 days from the date on such a person takes over the charge. For example, think today the manager came and got appointed as a manager of this factory. So from today's date, within 7 days, occupier is going to inform to the chief inspector that it is not possible for me to control the full affairs of the factory alone. So I hired this person, Mr. Something, as a manager in this, as a manager of this factory. So by means you have to write this, means occupier will write this in a notice and is going to inform the chief inspector. Okay. And the occupier, what the occupier will do, he is going to, first of all, he is having ultimate control over the affairs of the factory. Besides this, he is going to take care of the health and safety, welfare of all workers, safety, health of all workers while they are working in a factory. This is actually the main duty of the occupier. So, occupier will go around in a factory whether the workers are working properly and whether they are facing any problem or not, about their health, whether the proper safety has been given or not by the factory. So, every details, health, safety of the workers during the working period in a factory, it is going to be taken care by the occupier only, because he is always occupying the premises of the factory. Clear? Now, any question from occupiers?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Now, who is inspector? I already said this inspector is only the chief inspector, whose main work is to do test, examination of the factory or maintenance, everything, all this. Whether the factory is following all rules and regulation as per Factories Act or not, all these things he will do. See my notes, I already written. He will do all the examination, full premises examination he is going to do. Got it? Examination, inspection, all this he will do. In the factory, in case if any bodily injury or disability happens, like bodily injury or disability due to accident, okay, or dangerous situation during the working hours, if it happens, then the inquiry is going to be initiated by the inspector. So, inspector will inquire about that matter, why that worker got injured, due to what reason, okay, the reason he is going to inquire. Next is, if inspector feels like in the premises after examination and inspection, if he feels like such factory is not following the proper rules and regulation as per law or Factories Act 1948, then he can, for further inspection or for further thing, he can seize all the documents, records, machines, okay, and he can keep in his custody for further examination. And besides these type of powers, whatever means any other powers, if it is mentioned as per Act, okay, other than these, if any other exercises he needs to be done as per Act, he will do that. Clear? Now, next come to certified surgeon. You know, whenever a person is appointed or selected to work in a factory, he cannot work in such factory without medical certificate, because working in a factory is not so easy like working in an office. So, without medical report, you are not eligible to work in a factory. So, they will check like whether you are properly able to work or not, whether you are, what is your vision. If you are going to work with fire, then they will check your vision. They will do the eye testing. Okay, other things also they will check whether you are strong enough to work in a factory or not. Got it? So for that, medical report is must, and such medical report is going to be issued by the certified surgeon. Now we will see who is this certified surgeon who is going to give you such report, and with such report you are eligible to work in a factory. Now actually this certified surgeon is appointed by state government. So state government is going to appoint a qualified medical practitioner, means doctor, a qualified doctor or medical practitioner, as a certified surgeon. Okay, as certified surgeon. And the certified surgeon is going to act as a doctor for that factory only. Got it? So for that factory or for that industry, so they are going to hire a separate doctor. Okay. Now, what are the duties of such certified surgeon? Whoever young person will come, certified surgeon is going to do the examination, and on the basis of such examination, they are going to certify such person. You can say fitness certificate they will issue. So on the basis of this fitness certificate, it will be means afterwards it means they should work in a factory. Whenever they will go to a factory for working, they should carry this certificate of fitness. Okay. So if their fitness certificate is okay, then only they can work in a factory. And besides giving certificate, other works certified surgeon will do, like he will take care of the health of the workers, obviously. So in case of their illness, whenever they will become sick, or suddenly they got injured during the working hours, okay, or due to, for example, they became disabled due to any accident, okay. In such cases, the certified surgeon is going to take care, okay, or going to do the treatment of such workers. This is about certified surgeon. Got it? Now, any question from this? No. But still.
No, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Now, after that, you can see, like in my notes, I have written welfare measures and safety read from book. I am coming last because this is nothing. You know, you have to read just the heading. You just go on. Like I will explain you last. Like proper ventilation. The factory should be clean. Proper facility of water should be given. Proper numbers of toilets should be there. Proper number means first aid should be there. If there is more means workers, then you should give them a proper restroom. Got it? And all these things you should there. You should give them the means transport facilities. So these are what means welfare and safety. I will discuss later on. Before this 12 and 13, you just skip. I will discuss last. You just come. As per Factories Act, what do you mean by working hours? Now, working hours is explained in Factories Act separately for adults, for young, like that. Now, first let us read about adults. What do you mean by the term adult? 18 years or more. Got it. Now, for adults, working hour has been given in the Factories Act. As per Factories Act, they have said workers are not allowed to work in a factory for more than 9 hours in a day. They can work 9 hours in a day. Okay. And this is in a day they can work 9 hours. Secondly is after continuously working for 5 hours, they should take at least half hour rest. It is written in our Factories Act. So after continuously working for 5 hours, they should take at least half an hour rest. It may be tea break or anything. Okay. And these 9 hours is excluding breaks. And a person or the workers are not allowed to work 10.5 hours including breaks in a day. Got it? Lunch break or snacks break like that, tea break, etc., etc. So total a person or a worker is allowed to work in a factory 9 hours in a day as per Act. After continuously working for 5 hours, he should take half an hour rest, and he can total 10.5 hours in a day he can work, that is also including break, and excluding break is 9 hours. Okay. Next is weekly holidays should be there. After continuously working for 7 days, at least 1 day rest he should get. It is not necessary that it must be Sunday. Any day he can take as a break or as a rest day or as a holiday. Okay. So at least after working continuously for continuously 6 days, 1 day he should take rest. And other thing is there. Next is always, first day of the week is Sunday. Sunday, Monday, like that we starts. So it is not necessary that he should take a rest or a holiday on Sunday only. Any day of a week he can take rest. In case he is not taking rest a day after continuously working 6 days, then he can means if he is working on that day also, rest day also, if he is working, then he should get the compensatory holiday, that is comp off. That means instead of that day, other day also he can take as a holiday and compensation of, you can say. And if any holiday is due to him, okay, within 2 months, immediately from that month he can get the compensation off. So 2 months he will get, within 2 months only he has to take. If 2 months expire, he is not going to take this compensatory holiday. So for example, like from Sunday, from one Sunday to next Saturday he worked. Not a single day he took any rest. So 1 day is due, 1 rest day got due. This due or this rest he can take only within 2 months, not more than that. That is known as compensatory holiday. Now, as per Factories Act, shifting duty is allowed. Got it? So that means a factory is working at least 24 hours into 7 actually. But yes, workers are distributed into a group and in a shift. Like those workers are working in a day shift, okay, evening shift, night shift, like this. But the factory is open or industry is open 24 hours into 7. So, but workers are working in a shift. Now, as per Factories Act, overtime is there. Like I said, Factories Act has fixed the working hours. Right, just now I explained. That means excluding breaks 9 hours, including breaks 10.5. And after continuously 5 hours, half hour rest. Now think you are allotted excluding break 9 hours. So if you are working more than 9 hours, then it will be treated as a overtime. Got it? So any worker works in a factory more than 9 hours, that is a overtime. Got it? Next is, if a worker's work more than, this is a day basis, more than 48 hours in a week, then also that is overtime. So in a day, if a worker works more than 9 hours, that is overtime. if a worker works more than 48 hours in a week, that is also overtime. And overtime wages always calculated twice his ordinary rate of wages. So whatever will be your wages, in case of calculation of overtime wages, it will be twice. Got it? If your rate is 500, then for your overtime it will get double, 1000. Got it? So always overtime rate is going to be calculated like twice his ordinary rate of wages. Clear? Any question asked?
No, ma'am. Clear.
Next is, as per Factories Act 1948, double employment is prohibited. What do you mean by double employment? At a time, a worker is working in two factories. Okay, or he is in the register or he is in the document of two factories. So no adult worker is allowed to work in two different factories on same day actually. That is double employment. So double employment is restricted as per Factories Act. Mind it. So first of all, double employment is not allowed. No worker is allowed to work in two different factories on same day. And every factory should maintain register of adult worker. Okay. A register should be maintained by the factory for adult worker, and there they should write the name of the workers, their details, okay, in what shift they have worked, their in time and out time, whether they have, from there only they will get the overtime, what is their rate, what nature of work they are doing, in which name of the group, okay, he is included. So all these details should be there in the register of the adult worker. So whenever the occupier or manager wants to check, they can open the register and can check about that adult worker. It is easier for them to track. So that's why every factory should maintain a register for adult workers. Now, there are provisions in the Factories Act about women employment. As per Factories Act, it is said women worker actually. Women workers are only allowed to work between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. That means they are not allowed to work at the night time. The provision is there in the Factories Act that no woman worker is allowed to work after this time. That they are only allowed to work between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. But in case it's very urgent for them to work at the night time, okay, it's very urgent for them to work in the night time, then they have to take permission from the state government. Then they should take written permission from state government. They should bring a letter in writing that they are eligible to work at night time. Otherwise, they are not allowed to work during the night time. They are only allowed to work between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Clear? Now, there are 3 stages actually. You know, there is a concept of child labor, okay. But you know, there is a age like 18 or more is adult, we said. Somewhere 14 to 18, 14 years to 18. In some books it is written from 14 years to 18 or some books it is written 15 years to 18. Okay. It is coming between, it is known as adolescence, not the minor, okay. And below 14 is actually coming under minor. So if you are appointing or hiring any minor, then it will be coming under child labor, which is prohibited. Got it? But working of adolescents is allowed, but subject to certain provision. Adolescence means, I hope in your book it is written 14 years or to 18, but it was also written in some other books 15 years to 18. So whatever is written in your book, you can follow as per that. But these people, we called it, they are young children. We called it like maturity actually comes between this time. Okay. Between the age of 14 to 18. After 18 is full matured. We called them as adult. But during this time, it's you will start means maturity starts coming, and below 14 is totally innocent. It's coming under minor. Got it? This is not allowed, but adolescence and adult is allowed. Now, as per Factories Act, those who are coming under this adolescence, that is 14 years of age to 18 years of age, adolescent worker, you can hire these young people who are adolescent between 14 years to 18 years. But certain provision you should follow, or certain rules you need to follow for them. First of all, they have to, or who has completed at least 14 years of age. First provision. Second is, they are not allowed to work in a factory without fitness certificate. Always they should carry this fitness certificate with them. Whenever they will come to factory for working, they always should carry such fitness certificate. And such fitness certificate must be approved by the manager of the factory. After seeing this fitness certificate, if manager of the factory allows them, then only they can come and work. Next is, and when the manager will allow them this fitness certificate, manager will issue a token, and with this token they will come every day for working, and this token will expire after 1 year. After 1 year again they are needs to take, means they will be tested or they will be checked by the certified surgeon. Again a fresh fitness certificate will be issued to them. Again with that fitness certificate they will again continue to come. Got it? So whatever fitness certificate they will get from the surgeon, 1 year validity. Clear? Now, there also for them, Factories Act says, for young children, adolescent worker, their working hours is they cannot work more than 4.5 hours in a day. More than 4.5 hours in a day for a young children. Secondly, they cannot work during night time like a woman. Thirdly, they cannot work more than 2 shifts. There are 3 shifts, more than 2 shifts they cannot work. Others, adult, they can work at, means if an adult person wants to work in all the shifts and they will take the comp off for other day, they can do so. But an adolescent kid or an adolescent worker cannot work more than 2 shifts in a day. If such adolescent worker is a female, that means female young child, this is allowed to work, only the female is allowed to work between 8 AM to 7 PM. After 7 PM, they are not allowed to work. Female child. Got it? So these are the provisions you have to remember for adolescent or younger kids. And here also all factories should maintain register for the young children also. And same thing, in register they are going to note the name, their details, their fitness details, nature of work, in which group they are working, the number of the certificate of fitness, all these things they need to means record in the register for future reference. Any question? Can do it. Any question?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, ma'am, clear, ma'am.
Okay. Next provision is as per Factories Act. Worker who has worked for a period of 240 days or more in a factory during calendar year. Calendar year means there are 2 years, na, calendar and financial. Calendar means 1st January to 31st December. Shall be those workers who have worked continuously 240 days or more during a year, calendar year. Only for those workers, leave with wages is allowed. That means they can take leave and wages is not going to be deducted for such leave. Got it? So, leave with wages is allowed if the worker is worked 240 days or more during a calendar year, that is 1st January till 31st December. So, there are also some provisions like for adult workers, after continuously 20 days of work, if they take 1 day leave, then no wages is going to be deducted for that 1 day leave. Got it? For child, that is adolescent, continuously for working for 15 days, if they take 1 day leave, other than that 1 day, okay, that weekly I said na, after continuously 6 days they needs to take 1 day rest. Other than that I am talking about. Continuously for children, after continuously 15 days working, if they wants to take 1 day leave, other than that actual leave, then for 1 day leave they are not going to deduct the wages. The factory is not going to deduct the wages. Leave with wages they can take. And for female workers, obviously the maternity leave is there. Those who are female workers, during the maternity time or pregnancy time or whenever during the maternity leave they can get, but not exceeding 12 months. Okay. So they can stay at home, but they will get wages. Now actually this became 6 months. It depends on the maximum 6 months. From 12 weeks to maximum 6 months. It depends on the policy of the company. As per government, they said. So they can avail the maternity leave with wages. So when the workers are allowed to for leave with wages, like they are allowed to take leave, but wages is not going to be deducted for such leave. Got it? Now, in a calendar year, think any worker has not taken any leave. Not taken any leave. In such cases, the total leave can be carried forward to the next year. Now, what is the limitation? For adult, 30 days leave can be carried forwarded to the next calendar year, and for child, 40 days can be carried forward to the next calendar year. But 40 leave can be carried forward to the next calendar year. That is, for adult 30 days can be carried forward to the next calendar year, and for child 40 days. Clear? Now, let us discuss that 11 and 12 points. I said ki read from books, okay, only heading. Again I am telling, from my notes you will see the point number 12 and 13. Read from book, and that also only heading. Nothing is there. You can write of your own also. If I'm talking like what type of means what type of say social welfare you can take, or welfare measures. It is there in your book, welfare measures. That means for the betterment of the workers, what are the precaution you can take for their health purpose? Got it? So I can say it should cleanliness. Got it? That means full factory premises should be kept clean, okay, free from dust arising, whatever waste is there, you should clean it out. So all these things you can write of your own, like an environment thing. So only I will request you to read the heading and body, write of your own 2 line each. First health precaution you can take, cleanliness. So whatever in your factory should be kept clean. Next, for health purpose, whatever waste and effluents are coming now from the factory, you should dispose it properly. So disposal means proper disposal of waste for the health of the worker. Proper ventilation you should give for their health. And also you should control the temperature also, because you know in the inside the factory the temperature usually is very hot. So you should give a proper ventilation so that it controls the temperature. You know, in the manufacturing process, many dust and fumes are involved. Got it? Which is injurious for the workers. So you should take care of these dust, all these things. You should dispose such thing in a proper way. Now, you should clean the air also. There is possible in a factory, you should do artificial humidification. That means artificially you should regulate, means increasing the humidity of the air. Got it? So all these things you should do for your factory. Overcrowding. If it is overcrowded, now you should immediately take care. Like you should increase the number of rooms. Okay, so that you should increase the what to say, means it is written like it means at least 9.9 cubic meters for the factories, means you should be large enough so that everyone can work nicely. Okay. Next is proper lighting facility should be there. Everyone should see, because they are working in a hazardous process. They are working with a machine. So they should see everything clearly. So you should give a proper lighting facility. Next is proper drinking water. You should facilitate proper drinking water, because you know they are working whole day. Okay, 24 hours. So sweet means in a factory, you should keep, all the workers should get the proper drinking water. Got it? So you should maintain all these things. Whatever you do, you can make a separate room for that also. Proper urination. Okay. So washing place, urinals, latrines. Okay, open drains, all this you should facilitate for the health of the workers. All these things. These are all separate points, urinals, latrines, okay. So proper thing means proper sufficient amount of things should be there. And lastly, you should keep spittoons. What do you mean by spittoons? You know now, person split or spit within the premises of a factory. When they spit within the premises of the factory, this is not good for the health, right? So always you should keep something so that they spit here. Got it? And also how you will make them obey, you have to impose penalty. So you have to see, like, if this person disobey these rules and regulation, then they will be charged, they needs to pay a fine of ₹5, like this. So with there should be a fear of paying fine, then only they will listen all these things. So all these 10 points you can write of your own, and all these things are for the health of the workers. Got it? Any question from here?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Lastly, safety. What are the safety uh, things you can take, like guidelines? So all the factories should take some safety measures so that workers should not meet with an accident inside the factory premises during the working hours. What are those you can take? For example, though the workers are working in a machine, you should like fencing of machinery. So proper maintenance, proper servicing of such machine you should do on time. Got it. Next is you should take precaution in case of fire. You should appoint safety welfare officers who is going to take care of these safety measures, whether the factories are following these things properly or not. Got it. So if the company is if the factory is involved with the dangerous fumes and gases, then you should take a measure for that. Okay. So if a factory like the floor, steps, stairs must be in a sound condition always. So all this precaution you should take. Now, if there is a case of fire, there should be a proper fire exit. Okay. So all these type of safety things you should take care inside the factory premises. Got it. Now, if you open my notes, just you can see penalties are there in my notes, second last page. See, if you don't follow any of this provision, whatever I explained, the manager and the occupier is going to be punishable with imprisonment, as well as their means imprisonment means jail, maximum 2 years jail, and fine also maximum 1 lakh. Now, contravention resulted in accident causing death. Now, a worker, for example, like any accident happened during the working hours which caused death, and that is also in the fault of yours. You have contravened some provision, and for that this incident occurred. So for that the penalty is like this: minimum 25,000, bodily injury 5,000 you have to pay, jail will be there. Now these penalties are given, usually no penalties question usually comes for you people, okay? Because if you read also you can't remember, I'm sure, for penalties of all from first to last these chapters. But still, if you're good enough, you can go through and can write in examination. Like you can see, if any inspector, if it's coming for examination purpose, and if you're obstructing inspector, then also punishment is there. Jail is maximum 6 months and fine is 10,000 or both. If any contravention happens relating to hazardous process, like it's a hazardous process is going on and I'm not following the rules, for that imprisonment and jail is maximum 7 years and fine is 2 lakh. And if you continue this contravention, like you are not following after getting penalized also, then what happened? It extends 5,000. Fees extends 5,000 means per day additionally it is going to be count, and it will extend from 7 years to 10 years jail. And if any workers do any type of offence, then maximum 500 he will pay. False certificate of fitness if you obtain, jail will be maximum 2 months and fine 1,000 or both. For double employment also 1,000 punishment. So this penalty I always advise, like this is not so much important because it is very difficult for the students to remember, and usually for inter-executive penalties questions never comes. Now very important for you people, the last one, the last page, requirements. Like they are telling in your factory, if more than 30 women workers are working, then it is mandatory to have a creche, so that those women workers will bring their children whose age is not under age of 6 years in their creche, and they will work as per law. If your number of workers are 150 or more, then you should have a proper, adequate, suitable shelters, restroom, lunchroom. Got it. Next is, in your factory, if the number of workers is 250 or more, then you should have proper canteen or canteens, which must be maintained by the occupier. There should be a cool drinking water during hot weather, you can say, during summer, as well as proper sufficient latrines, urinals. All these accommodations should be there. If in your factory more than 500 workers are working, then as per Factories Act, you should keep ambulance, personal ambulance there, nursing staff, etc. These are mandatory. And in case in your factory 1,000 or more workers are working, then you should appoint one safety officer itself who is going to take care of all these things, whatever I have explained. Clear?